with that. But we'll get to recreational marijuana. We will spend part of the 7 o'clock hour taking a look at that. Next on the Stansbury Show, everybody, myself included, complains about concert ticket pricing. What if they charged by the minute? It would actually be. We'll get to that next on the Stansbury Show. It's around 9:30 this morning. Of fucking course. Get you in the seat. That show on the 9th, just a couple of days now. So when we send you that email congratulating on your win and ask you to fill out that paperwork, you're going to have to do it really fast in order for us to get those tickets turned around to you. But we will pass those out 9:30 this morning. You can text your studio throughout the program, that at 330-450-7625. And the microphone talkback button is at your disposal as well if you happen to listen live on IR Radio. So, big concert in town last night. Concerts are usually a part of the summer season. Summer concert season's part of it. And I've been very lucky in my life, obviously. With my line of work, I've been able to see just about everything. And I've been able to do so with not a lot of money. Now, I spent my entire life before the radio business trying to put every dollar I ever had together to go see bands I loved. It was one of the things I liked to spend my money on. I love shows, big fans. I've seen everybody. I also got lucky enough while in between a lot of my radio jobs to bartend concert venues. And so I saw a lot of shows that way. And I believe live music is good for the soul. It's kind of good for you. Helps keep you a little bit young-ish, if that's at all possible. Kind of like that. It's not a bad idea to go somewhere, listen to some music that you love, get wrapped up in that moment, be around like-minded people who enjoy the same things, have a couple of drinks. Woo! Good time. Now, I understand with ticket pricing where it is, why a lot of people don't party at shows the way they used to. I can't tell you how many times I've been to shows and I left and I was like, there's a Marilyn Manson show I know I was at that I have not one memory of because of how inebriated. Now, if you spend $300 to go see somebody, you're probably not likely to do that. You know what I mean? When tickets were $30, yes, we made less money back then. You know what I mean? And it was still a lot of money. I remember when we talked concert ticket pricing last time, I said, I have my ticket stuff for the 96 Kiss reunion shows. those were $40. And like then that was like, oh my God, $40? I remember Kurt Cobain being on MTV. And I think it was Madonna they were talking to him about. It was one of the pop stars. And like the look on his face when he found out a ticket was $50. Because then 50 was kind of like 300. Right? It probably wasn't quite 300, but 50 was a lot and a lot of money. But $40, I remember $40. It was like, geez. Now, if you could get a ticket for 40, you would jump up and down about it. There's the Ticketmaster angle. We would have to bring that up, obviously, right? And then there's the third-party market that's been driving up some of the pricing. You know, a lot of that stuff they told us was invented so you and I would have more access and we could get it and everybody could turn it into a scalper and it would be better. And then what it ended up happening is all the corporations started buying up all those sites. And next thing you know, you and I still got locked out. They created dynamic ticket pricing, which is essentially just you and I bidding on tickets, which drove the ticket pricing, right? For sure. Now, COVID did this too. I remember saying during COVID, and people laughed at me, but I said, you're going to be back in an NFL stadium this year during this, that will happen. It did. And I said, there was a reason why I bought some of the stocks I bought. Live Nation was one of them in the middle of COVID. And everybody thought I was crazy. I remember I had the conversation on the air. People said, oh, we're never going to see stuff like that ever again. I said, yes, you will. Because the only way anybody, including the companies and the artists, the only way anybody makes any money anymore is when those losers are standing on a stage lip syncing those songs for you and I. That's the only time anybody makes any money anymore. They changed the art. It's all digital and you just download and you don't do this, or at best you pay $10 a month to some music service and we all get to listen to everything. I obviously have an account with iHeartRadio. I have an Apple account as I'm an iPhone user as well. By the way, I went to go listen to some things on some of my playlists I have over the weekend on those. And like 4 of my artists I like stuff off of those services right now. And so I can't listen to them anymore. So get ready because later this week, I'm probably going to I tried to tell you how right I was about physical copy of media. I'm probably going back there at some point. We don't have to do it right now. But they changed how the art gets passed out and how the money's made off. So the stage is how artists make their money. And so that's how I knew. I was like, I don't care what happens to the world. Somebody's going to get up there with a guitar and start singing because that's where the money comes from. Much like everybody's trying to figure out why everything's expensive right now. Remember when I told you? You think these companies are just going to sit idly by and lose this damn money because we're worried about grandmas? Like, baby, they're going to come back for this money now. Like, for sure. And sure enough, came back for that money, right? It's kind of how that works. Ticket pricing has gotten out of control. Somebody told me they paid $500 a ticket to see Taylor Swift. Now, I've been to a lot of shows. I've paid a lot of money to see some shows. Now, because I've gotten some access, that I found that worth it. Like I paid $300 to go see Florida Georgia Line, and no, I wasn't going to see Florida Georgia Line, a woman I love, I loved, and I want to go see Florida Georgia. So, all right, here goes $900 to these fake album idiots. I couldn't do that, right? I can't think of a show that's worth $500. That seems like a lot to me. A lot. Metallica even. Now, why I said that is because, well, Taylor Swift and Metallica, they couldn't be any different. Now, Taylor would be approaching this because of how long she's been out there. But Metallica, at least like 35 years worth of art they're going to pull from, though, right? There's like 26 albums they can play me here, right? There's a little bit of it. For some of these artists, it's like, nah, you're just going off the popularity of right now. You're not really worth this. You're worth this right now. James Hetfield is worth this kind of no matter what. You're worth this right now because the song's kind of hot right now. Now, I don't think I would pay $500 to see Taylor Swift. But if it was going to make a child happy, would I pay $500 to see Taylor Swift?
Yes, absolutely, for sure. There's no dollar amount, not, unless you don't have the money, but like there's no dollar amount. When you see a kid like get excited about the thing, it's like, yeah, you're pissed about the money. But then once you see it, it's like smiles per minute. Miles per minute at a concert for a kid who's getting to see their favorite artist. Like I sat next to this dad and like 12, we're in the second row, and that kid was going absolutely crazy. This is your first time ever seeing the group. He's like, it's the best, dude. I begged my dad, and I can mow grass, I do all this stuff, and it was just like, and he was just like loving his life. I couldn't believe a kid that young wanted to see Motley Crue that bad, but he did. He was all about it. Smiles per minute makes it kind of worth it. But how many smiles do you get per minute at shows? Well, somebody broke it down. And it turns out Taylor Swift, smiles per minute is an absolute bargain. Somebody broke down concert ticket pricing by artist, by how much money you're spending per minute on their tickets. Taylor Swift, I don't even think cracks the top 10 at most expensive in this regard. Yeah, it's a little nuts. We'll get to that list and we'll do it next on the State Inspiration. Browns and Packers get after it later this week, I believe Saturday. We'll talk to Scott about that. Scott on loan from winningfornextyear.com. We'll talk to him today. We've been talking about concert ticket pricing. Somebody's figured this out by length of show. Who are you spending the most to see per minute? We should probably mention that Aerosmith has decided to cancel the remainder of their Peace Out Farewell tour. I believe we were slated to get a Northeast Ohio show late September. If memory serves from having to tell people you can get tickets now or online now, WMMS.com/content. I think that was September 22nd. If memory serves from having to say it only 10,000 times on the air. But they're done now. Aerosmith is done. And we've been talking about concert ticket pricing. It's very expensive. And Taylor Swift jumps top of mind. They say the average ticket price to see her right now is $239. Now, she's not the highest average ticket price right now. According to this, they're saying U2 is actually the highest ticket price. Again, a band I didn't really love a whole lot growing up, had to get a little older to start to respect. And then I saw them a couple of times. And I was like, all right, I kind of get it now. Like, I kind of get it. And they do have some decent stuff. Bono can be a little annoying when he starts talking a lot, right? Like yours truly. But ultimately, I think the art's pretty good. But Taylor Swift, even though her average ticket price is $239, you're not spending all that much money per minute to see her, because her shows on average are 3 hours and 21 minutes long. That's actually pretty good. That's a long show. That's a very, very long. So for Taylor, I believe this knocks her out of the top 10 most expensive when you break it down this way. It does, as a matter of fact, because she comes in at number 20, which they say cost per minute to see Taylor Swift is about $1.19 per minute. $239 for your average ticket price. And again, the show, 3 hours, 21 minutes. That's actually not that bad. $1.19 per minute isn't necessarily crazy. Now, it would be bad if we started pricing things like that. Like I've said about golf. They charge you by how many holes you play. Thank God. Thank God they don't charge me by how many swings I took. Because it would be about 3 times as much money. I would not like that. I would not like that. So this, I guess, is them trying to tell you that you're getting a little bit of a deal seeing her. I'm not sure that's true. I've heard this about some of her shows. I've seen her, but it's been since before she blew up like this. She was a big deal, but not quite like this. Which, by the way, look at her, man. Just keeping that relationship with Travis together in the offseason for the NFL ratings. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. It had zero to do with any of that since, the NFL has the ratings they needed before that. And, Taylor has all the popularity any one person would ever need. It's not like some douche wearing 87 was going to give her more of it. Right? He benefited. She didn't. I don't know what the hell everybody was talking about there. Just all them tough dudes. Win, pretty lady on my TV. Win, pretty lady. Making stuff. I'm a bitty making stuff. I mean, just the scissory we saw during that whole thing. Just alphas crying in the street over Taylor. Unbelievable. I mean, just so ridiculous. Not even close to breaking the top 10. Most expensive. Most expensive per minute. George Strait comes in at number 5. Now, George, the average ticket price is $232. And he's playing for about 2 hours and 11 minutes. $1.77 a minute. So George Strait coming in number 5, most expensive ticket price per minute there. The Rolling Stones, number 4. Average ticket price about $207. We're playing for about 1 hour and 56 minutes. We call that 2 hours. And about $1.78 per minute is about what that's breaking down to. Having seen the Stones, Steel Wheels Tour, and a few others, I think maybe very, very good, really good, and have all the hits. The problem with going to see a band like the Stones is you're never going to love the set list. They have too many songs, and there's zero chance they're getting to all of them. Number 3, most expensive concert tickets per minute, Drake. About $239 a ticket on average. Plays about 2 hours and 15 minutes, about 212. $1.81 per minute. So long time ago.
Now you're right up on the step, we gon' live it up. She made me take more, she give it up. And I say the same thing every day.
Drake's coming in number 3, most expensive there if you go by minute. U2 actually at number 2. $272 on average. The ticket or show length is about 2 hours, 10 minutes. $2.12 per minute to see U2. Again, if you like them, worth it.
Cool enough to spend the day. Touch the ground, strong on the ground.
Angel of Harlem. Number 1, most expensive concert right now per minute. This would be your average ticket price is $218. This gentleman will play for about 1 hour and 40 minutes. And you're spending about $2.19 per minute to see him. And he was massive once upon a time. Doesn't have the same kind of heat right now. Plenty of people think he did the best halftime show ever at the Super Bowl. I would not be among them, although he was entertaining. I'll take Prince still personally. But Bruno Mars.
Easy come, easy go. That's just how
that is your most expensive ticket
per
minute. Some heavy hitters out there. Morgan Wallen comes in at number 10. He's giving you just over 2 hours of a show. It's about $171 to see him. $1.39 per minute. The Chili Peppers, who were just in town recently. About an hour 40, they're playing $126 your average ticket price, and about $125 per minute to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It actually doesn't sound that bad once you break it down. Because for some woman who was probably a dude to lie to me about how she wants to take my clothes off was costing me $1.90 a minute. It's $1.99 a minute, like 35 years ago. So I'm getting A-list celebrities for that type of pricing now. Doesn't seem that bad. As we've been talking about concerts this morning, I'll remind you, 9:30, I'll have your Lamb of God and Mastodon tickets. That show's later this week. We're passing out tickets today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Trying to get you into that. we have been talking about concerts a little bit because somebody broke it down ticket price per minute. You know, Taylor Swift gets all the headlines for how expensive her tickets are, but she's playing about 3 hours and 21 minutes per show. So that actually on this list has her coming in at number 20. Playing 3 hours, 21 minutes. Average ticket price is $239, and that's about $1.19. Now, plenty of you had mentioned this. They said, okay, great. Who in the hell is getting a Taylor Swift ticket at an average price, right? Well, if we make it all about one artist, you'd probably be right there. Somebody sent me this. This would be for Lucas Oil Stadium in Indiana. November, this would be a Friday night, November 1st. High demand is turned on StubHub for Taylor. No kidding, right? Section 615, which is up in the middle of no place. Row 2, seats 15 and 16. So this is 2 tickets seated together. Clear view. $2,081 each. Yeah, that's crazy. And again, I've been very, very lucky. Not only have I seen everybody, I've interviewed a lot of bands I've shaken hands, I've hosted meet and greets. And so sometimes, like, I'll look at ticket, I'm like, what? Like, that's insane. Like, I've met these douchebags. Like, they're miserable pricks. You don't want anything to do with them. That is insane. Not only that, I've seen this with Taylor, and I would bet that this is true of a lot of pop artists, right? When they're at, like, the height of their fandom. The Beatles, probably, this was true. Like, so many women, young women, walk out of those Taylor Swift shows and talk about how, like, they got so wrapped up in it, they don't remember a single thing about it. Now, I know that's going to be easily dismissed as the cell phone thing, right? Well, if you weren't looking through the camera lens, blah, 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 you would have. You remember more, right? Could be both ways, but, like, I'm recording blank space right now because that's what I want to record. I think it could work like that. But they say that hysteria, that most people don't even remember what's going on. So $2,000 seems like, never mind the fact that I'm guessing a lot of those people needed a babysitter. Then there was parking. Then there was dinner. Uber, maybe. What did you spend on the drinks? Or edibles, right? Or edibles. Don't worry, we're getting into marijuana. We are getting to it today. So these ticket prices for Taylor are also from StubHub, right? One of those, like, vendor ticket places where people kind of like, hey, I want to sell my tickets. Essentially scalper.com, right? I mean, that's essentially what that is what those are. I think that those sites are making tickets more expensive. I could be wrong about that, but I kind of feel like that's what I'm seeing. So yeah, Taylor comes in at number 20. We gave you the top 5 most expensive per minute. George Strait was 5, Rolling Stones 4, Drake number 3, U2 number 2, Bruno Mars number 1. I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to guess that U2 at number 2, part of that was where they have been performing recently. This has been a couple of months now, but they were the first artist to open up the Sphere in Las Vegas, were they not? And tickets for that place are insanely expensive. But it's a bug. Like, okay, so I've said all morning, I've seen a million shows. I've been to a million venues. I've flown out of market to see bands. I've hosted meet and greets. I've done a lot of cool stuff, right? Very rarely do I want to go see something because of the venue. I wanted to go to MSG, Madison Square Garden, so I did. I was like, dude, it's Madison Square Garden. Like, I gotta see MS. I gotta go see something. So I wanted to see something. There's a few other venues that I would care about. The Fillmore in San Francisco, I've been outside of it and this and that. I haven't seen anybody I care about in it. I would like to do that. Red Rocks in Colorado is absolutely a bucket list venue. I gotta see something. Outside of that, here's just about the only. I want to go there so bad. As a matter of fact, I sent a screenshot to my the other day. He said, I am. I've seen a bunch of their shows back in the day. Gary was alive. It was fun, the drugs and the acid, and all of a sudden, you know, Uncle Tom and that's all this stuff. You know, Uncle John's band. Sorry, all of a sudden, dude, on 6 hits of acid, it's not right? But they're just not my thing. That jam bandy thing isn't my thing. But I text them, I was like, dude, Dead and Company at the Sphere. I got to be honest with you. I was like, it's over the holiday season. I was like, if you want to go, I'll go. Like, I want to be something. it goes here. I hope they build it's in national ticket price looking for that is a little bit different. And then all of a sudden, Taylor Swift, absolutely, her ticket price is short. I mean, it's like $250. But that's because, again, she's going to tell you she gives you 3 hours. I got asked this a couple of different times. So I want to do a trust. This came in off my text line. It's fine here. I must you got to pay. You got to pay you got to pay them. So online, I would say let's make these numbers gospel. Right? About 15 to 20% of your the rate 5 to 80% are then split between the performer and their promoter. Now the
talking to you about how unfair wrote a song called of how bad the record label deals were in the 70s. Literally went to war with a label in the late 80s. Wrote 2 songs about it, put the record out against the label's wishes. That this new boomer artist, that's not a real thing. That's not real. That did not happen. Record contracts have always been a loan. That's what they are. We're going to give you $300,000 because we think you know how to play that guitar. So what we're going to do is gamble. We're giving you $300,000, and this fine print right here, honey, says when you start to flip them records over, we're coming back for every last goddamn penny and then some. Because nobody else thought you were any good, kid. But I was sitting here with $300,000 and was willing to give it to you. That's the way that's always been. That's the way it will always be. I know Spotify going to change it and all this. No, they're not. Ask artists. It's actually getting worse now. It's getting worse for them now than it's ever been. I remember telling everybody this during MTV Cribs. Oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I remember telling my buddy, we were sitting on his couch. I said, you realize, dude, these loser bands we love with the posters on the wall, these dudes own not a single one of these things. Geffen Records owns every house you ever saw on Cribs. Browns and Packers playing later this week. We'll talk to Scott from winningfornextyear.com. We'll do that at 8. Gonna look ahead at the NFL season getting under. Just preseason, I know, but still, always bittersweet. I like the idea that I'm going to get to watch football. I hate the idea that it's going to get freezing cold real fast. That part kind of sucks. This part, I guess, a lot of people are looking to celebrate. The Division of Cannabis Control said on Friday they will be issuing the first dual-use certificates of operation to dispensaries tomorrow. Sales for recreational marijuana can get underway. That announcement after weeks that they were giving, some early approval and the like. That to medical marijuana dispensary processor. We voted last November to legalize marijuana for adults 21 and older, and I am in support of this. I have said forever in this country that in a free society, you need a reason why I'm not allowed to do something. I don't need a reason why I want to do it. You need a reason why I'm not allowed. If I can jump out of a plane, I can buy weed on my way home from work. If I can buy a liquid that makes people flip cars and beat wives, I'm allowed to buy this plant. I'm sorry, but this whole thing has been ridiculous from the beginning. I have said forever, and I believe I'm right about it, that this country has a view of marijuana that it has because it has been illegal most of your life, which makes you look at people as if they are criminals. You don't necessarily think what happens after they smoke marijuana is bad. They're doing something illegal, so it's bad. Mommy drank wine while she was making dinner, and daddy drank beer on that John Deere. Nothing runs like that there. And so all of a sudden it's fine. It's just been illegal your entire life. So bad. Trench coat mafia, school shooters, that's who's doing it. Meanwhile, it's doctors, lawyers, mayors, all kind of stuff. I have been on marijuana, by the way, forever too. I've been yelling at the proponents about this for 20 years too. More Bill Maher's, less Bob Marley's. And we can get this done. And sure enough, now we are getting it done. Jamie Crawford, a spokesperson for the division, said, no sales over the weekend. We will provide a formal announcement on Monday. My guess is that will come around 9 a.m., maybe noon. Those are just guesses. We will get you that official statement if we see it before the show is over. My guess is you and I will talk about that a little bit tomorrow. Dispensaries across Ohio learned Friday that they will get their certificates of operation and can open for recreational consumers Tuesday. Now, that's provided that they check off the final boxes. An Ohio Bureau said license tell local officials that they intend to begin recreational sales. Now, again,
We remember that North Canton has said, we're not in this. Now, I said when that came out, I understand it. I understand it. I do not view dispensary as an adult entertainment store, like adult video store. I like adult video stores. Now, the internet kind of made this no longer really a necessity, but the age-old theory was what? Well, I want them available, not on my street. And I got to be honest with you, I don't live in North Canton. I bought a house, in the city on purpose. I don't really want a dispensary at the end of my street either. I probably don't. I don't think they're evil. I don't think you shouldn't be open. I don't think you shouldn't be able to make money off of that. Oh my God, what are you doing? I don't necessarily want one walking distance from my house, though. Like, I don't. I'm perfectly okay getting in the car and having to drive somewhere and having to go get that. My guess is over the next couple of years, when we see how much money, you will see a rethinking of that wheel in North Canton. What? But by the way, when they said no, we read you some quotes from some community leaders there who said, look, we're not anti this. A few of them said, whoa, wait a minute. Let's not go overboard on us. We wanted a little further definition on how much tax money was going to be generated and what that money would be doing. I don't think that that's crazy to want answers to those questions. We've been waiting for this for a while. I want to say I'm excited about it, but it doesn't really do much for me.